I think that I need to start off by kind of apologizing for just disappearing like I did for the last few weeks. If you haven't already guessed by the title of this video, I decided to take a little bit of time off for myself. I still haven't done my full background story, but I have mentioned little bits and pieces here and there throughout majority of my videos that are following my journey. And I had mentioned before that we've been trying to conceive since December, and since then, up until this last cycle, I had already had 2 chemical pregnancies. I had a chemical pregnancy, then a cycle, and then the next cycle had another chemical pregnancy. Then I had another cycle that ended in a big fat negative, which brings us to this last cycle and the cycle that I kind of just disappeared right afterwards. I feel like I owe you guys a little bit of an explanation and an apology for disappearing the way that I did, but I kind of was recouping and licking my wounds, I guess, and just trying to emotionally ground myself again. My last cycle ended in another chemical pregnancy. This was the first cycle that I had started all of the supplements and all of that, and through my charting and everything, I could tell that they were really making a difference, and I did ovulate. That was confirmed by my basal body temperatures, and my monitors, showed that all of my hormones were working correctly and all of that. Well, around towards the end of my luteal phase, I started to get on and off slightly positive pregnancy tests, which would be like squinter lines, which I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this or not, but I'll go ahead and show you what I was first starting to see. I'll show you the Icon and Dollar General tests that I did first, and then I'll show you the first response test that I was also doing. But unfortunately, the first response test, I forgot to put the date and DPO on, so I'm just going to list them from when I first started to see a line until it got a little bit more obvious. The first Icon test that I started to see a line on, which I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this or not, but there is a very, very faint line on that, so I started to suspect that something was going on. The next test that I did, in which these are a few weeks old, so that's why they look so crazy, but this one has a much more obvious line on it. And then the next one that I did, this one is more visible. It's still a squinter. And then the day before it ended, this was the test that I had taken, and that is a very obvious positive. The first response test, the very first one that I started to see a line on, if you guys are going to be able to see this, there actually is a very, very faint line on that test. don't think I'm going to be able to get it to show up. And then the next first response was that one, and you can see the line there. It is right there. Then they continued to get slightly darker, and this was the last first response that I did. Unfortunately, 2 days after taking this test, I woke up that morning and was laying in a pool of blood, and every test that I took after that, there was no lines on them, so I knew that another chemical pregnancy had happened, and it was quite devastating to me because this will make the third chemical pregnancy that I have had in the last 6 months. And anyone who's been trying to conceive for any amount of time, especially if it's taking a long time, seeing those positive tests and then it all of a sudden being ripped away from you is very devastating and highly emotional and really rough to get through. So all of you ladies out there who are experiencing this right now or have experienced this in the past, my heart really goes out to you guys, and I hope that my hope that with this channel is that I can help some of you to achieve viable pregnancies and go on to have a healthy full-term pregnancy and bring home a healthy baby. So I wanted to talk a little bit about chemical pregnancies and early miscarriages when I did this update, to just kind of touch on a little bit of the reasons why chemical pregnancies and early miscarriages happen and the things that you can do to possibly prevent them from reoccurring. Most chemical pregnancies are due to one of 3 reasons. One of those reasons are that you have too short of a luteal phase, which is the last half of your cycle, which would be your 2-week waiting when you're waiting to test to see if you're pregnant. If your luteal phase is too short, then it doesn't allow enough time for the fertilized egg to properly implant and really get nestled in there before your uterine lining starts to shed, and the pregnancy just goes with it. So, and a lot of times in those cases, you may not even know that you even actually had conceived because you may not have even been testing by then, or your HCG levels may never have gotten high enough for a line to show up. The second reason for a lot of chemical pregnancies and early miscarriages are issues with progesterone. And having the progesterone issue is that you do not produce enough progesterone to sustain a viable pregnancy. When you first become pregnant, the pregnancy is completely reliant on the corpus luteum that is left behind after you ovulate. When you ovulate, the egg is released, and what is left behind where that follicle had developed and the egg came out of is what they call the corpus luteum. And that corpus luteum is what is responsible for raising your body temperature if you're tracking your basal body temperatures, where you see the shift to higher temperatures, that is why your temperatures raise, is because you now have progesterone in your system, and it causes a warming effect, and it causes your resting body temperature or basal body temperature to rise slightly to support a pregnancy if an egg is to be fertilized and implant in your uterus. So if you're not creating enough progesterone, then that pregnancy will eventually terminate, because to sustain a pregnancy, it is essential that you have the correct amount of progesterone in your system for that pregnancy to stick around until the placenta starts to take over, and that happens around the second trimester. The third reason for chemical pregnancies and miscarriages are genetic problems and just non-viable pregnancies. That's one of the amazing things about our bodies. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't like to hear this when they're going through it, but our bodies instinctively know when there's something wrong with a conception. If there's genetic problems or serious, issues going on with that fetus, then your body will instinctively terminate that pregnancy because it knows that it's not a viable pregnancy. Unfortunately, for those chemical pregnancies and miscarriages, there's really not much that you can do about it. But the fortunate part about that is that each time the egg and sperm meet, new DNA is developed and a different person or baby is developed. So genetic issues or non-viable pregnancies may not, if that is why you have had a chemical pregnancy, it may not happen again, because you're dealing with new DNA and genetics every time you conceive each time. Fortunately, for the other two issues, there are some things that you can do to fix those problems and hopefully go on to conceive and carry out a full-term pregnancy. In order for you to know what the issue is that's going on, it's essential that you are tracking your fertility signs and your cycle. So you need to be tracking your basal body temperatures, your cervical mucus, your cervical position, doing OPKs. If you have a fertility monitor, then that's great. Something like the clear blue one or the one that Fairhaven has. Some women use Ferning microscopes. There are a lot of options out there when it comes to testing whether or not your body is preparing to ovulate. Now, the thing with those items is that they do not confirm ovulation, and that is why doing your basal body temperatures is very important, because it's a very cheap, inexpensive way to confirm that you actually are ovulating, because your body actually can gear up and produce the hormones that are needed to ovulate and not actually ovulate. So if you aren't tracking your BBTs, your basal body temperatures, then you really never know if your body is just gearing up to O and then nothing happens, or if all of those hormones are working correctly and you actually are ovulating. So by doing your basal body temperatures you're going to do yourself a huge favor. And I know for me personally, it helps me tremendously because I feel a lot more in tune with my body, more in control, and able to, I feel empowered because I'm able to, if I see problems occurring throughout my basal body temperature chart, then there are things that you can do to correct those issues. But if you're not taking your basal body temperatures, then you don't know that those issues are occurring, so you don't have, if you don't have the information that there is a problem, then you don't know where to start to fix anything, basically. Tracking your cycles, I just cannot stress enough how important it is to track your cycles. And for me personally, I feel like it's really important that you track as many things as you feel comfortable with. I personally do basal body temperatures, OPKs, my fertility monitors. I check my cervical mucus, my cervical position, and keep track of any signs and symptoms and things like that. And I also keep track of what supplements I'm taking so that when and if I do conceive, I will be able to look back and know what I had changed that month or, within months previous to kind of get an idea of what maybe it was that actually did help me finally conceive so that I can pass that information along to you. Because like I've said several times, even though this channel does follow my own personal trying to conceive journey, this channel really was created to help all of you. That it is, I guess, my calling of sorts, and I'm very passionate about helping other women to conceive babies, and that is my number one reason for even putting this channel up, is because if I can just help one person to fix their fertility issues and conceive a baby, then I feel like I've done my job. I surely hope that this channel helps more than one person conceive, but I would be absolutely thrilled even if it just was one. Not only does tracking your cycles, especially your BBTs, tell you whether or not you're ovulating or not, but it tells you a lot of very priceless information about your overall fertility health and health in general. So I'm a huge advocate for doing your BBTs, in which I will be putting up a separate video about how to do your BBTs and why it is so important, and the different things that tracking your basal body temperature can actually tell you. So back to things that you can do to try to prevent another chemical pregnancy or early miscarriage from happening is, one of the things that you can do is start taking baby aspirin. It specifically has to be baby aspirin. They are 81 milligrams a piece, and it will say low dose or baby aspirin on the bottle. My bottle is actually right here, and I just got the Bayer low dose. As you can see right there, it says 81 milligrams, and you just take one of these a day, every day, until you conceive, and you continue taking these even after you conceive until your second trimester, and then you're going to want to slowly stop taking them. At the point of the second trimester, your placenta has fully grown, and it will take over with the progesterone and blood flow and all of that. But you want to make sure that you stay on the baby aspirins until that happens, because stopping the baby aspirins too early can cause you to have a chemical pregnancy or an early miscarriage. So it's important that you continue taking it even after you conceive. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that in a lot of European countries, especially with women who suffer from recurrent miscarriages, early miscarriages, and chemical pregnancies, prescribing baby aspirin is actually one of their very first go-tos. And there's been a lot of studies done on it, and it has very promising statistical data out there with the baby aspirins and people conceiving and going on to carry a full-term pregnancy after they have been put on baby aspirin. So I have been doing this, and I'm actually going to start doing something else that I'm fixing to talk about just in 1 second. The other thing that is, well, the reason that baby aspirin actually helps you to conceive and prevent a chemical pregnancy or early miscarriage is because baby aspirin actually thins your blood out a little bit, and which in turn allows more blood flow to your reproductive organs, allowing them to function correctly, which is very important. And it also helps to thicken your uterine lining and make it a little bit softer, so that implantation can occur more easily, and that the implantation can occur deeper, so that it really sticks in there and the pregnancy is viable. I'm sorry, I have notes on my computer. Most of the time, when a woman is suffering from early miscarriages and chemical pregnancies, taking a baby aspirin will actually correct the problem, and they go on to have a healthy pregnancy once they conceive, after starting the baby aspirin. But something else that you can do, if you have been doing your basal body temperatures and you're charting it with an app or even just on paper with a graph, if your BBTs are telling you that you're not producing enough progesterone, which would be indicated by after you have confirmed ovulation, if there is just a very slight temp change, or your temperatures are highly erratic, like they jump up and down after you have ovulated, especially if they are dipping below the cover line and then jumping back up, that is very indicative of low progesterone problems, and that is another issue that will cause you to have recurrent chemical pregnancies and miscarriages. So the fortunate thing about that issue is that it's also an easy fix as well. There are numerous really great progesterone creams available over the counter that you can purchase and safely use, which I will be doing a video on how to safely incorporate progesterone cream into your fertility regimen, and I will be letting you guys know which brand that I actually pick out to use myself, because since I have been using the baby aspirin and I still had a chemical pregnancy, I'm going to go ahead and start with the progesterone as well to see if that doesn't help, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that maybe I will be able to announce by Christmas that I actually am pregnant. One of the other things that you can do besides the progesterone cream for a progesterone issue is that you can start taking an herb called Vitex. And Vitex is really, really great for your fertility health overall. Um, Vitex actually has been shown to help regulate your cycles. It has been shown to increase LH levels, which in turn will help you ovulate. And it has also been shown to help increase progesterone levels in the second half of your cycle. So, um, taking Vitex with the baby aspirin and possibly a over the counter progesterone cream as well, um, could, the next time that you conceive, prevent you from losing that pregnancy again. Um, you can purchase natural progesterone cream over the counter. I don't know of any stores myself that carry it, but I know that you can get it online in all kinds of places, and Amazon is a really great place to shop. I will put a link down below for the baby aspirin and the progesterone cream, as well as the Vitex. Um, Now, when you're using progesterone cream, you need to make sure that you are doing your basal body temperatures. And the reason why that is important is because you can only start the progesterone cream after you have confirmed ovulation. So, when you're doing your BBTs, you will have your lower temps, which happen during your follicular phase, and then your temps will rise after ovulation. And when you see that sustained thermal shift, that is when you're going to start um, putting on the progesterone cream. And if you have already been tracking your cycles for some time, and it's good to have been tracking them previous to starting progesterone cream, so that you know what your normal luteal phase, the length of it is, because you want to use that progesterone cream for what your natural luteal phase is. And then at the end of that luteal phase, if you do not have a big fat positive by that time, then you stop the progesterone cream and your period will start when your progesterone levels drop. So it's really important that you do your basal body temperatures if you are going to do the progesterone cream. Um, Now, the other reason that I had talked about for recurrent chemical pregnancies and miscarriages is that you may have a luteal phase defect, which is something else that can be easily corrected. And if you're doing your basal body temperatures, then you will know whether or not there is an issue there, because ideally they want you to have a 12-day luteal phase. Um, 10 days is okay. Ideally, they would prefer it to be 12, and 12 to 15 is a good range. So if your luteal phase is below 12 days, and especially below 10, then there's definitely a problem, because there's not enough time in 10 days or less for the egg and sperm to meet and fertilize and travel all the way down to your uterus and implant. And what ends up happening when your luteal phase is too short is that even if the egg is fertilized, once it goes to try to implant, your progesterone levels suddenly drop, and that triggers the shedding of your uterine lining, so that fertilized egg will come out with it, and you probably will never even know that you may have been pregnant, which is fortunate, because then you're not constantly going through the devastation of, seeing a positive pregnancy test and then Aunt Flo coming. So, but if you're doing your BBTs and you are noticing that your luteal phase is too short, One of the things that you can do to help that is something that I've already spoken about, which is start taking Vitex. Vitex has been shown to help lengthen your luteal phase. Vitex has also been shown to help induce ovulation. So if you're having an issue that you think that you might not be ovulating, then Vitex is probably a good starting herb for you. And they recommend that you start at 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams a day, and that you take all of that in the morning. But I will be doing a separate video on the updated supplements that I am taking and what I have stopped taking, what I have added to my regimen, and it's just everything new about what I'm doing with the supplements, because I've done a lot more research and there are some things that I'm really intrigued about and some better products that I've found than what I already personally have. So I'm really excited about starting those new supplements and sharing all of that information with you ladies, because I know that it is going to help some of you to conceive your babies. The other thing that you can do for a short luteal phase, B6 and B12. So you can either buy each of those vitamins separately, or you can get a complex that has a high dose of both of them. When I release my video on all of the new supplements that I will be taking for these cycles here on out, or until I find something better, there's actually a multivitamin on there that will take care of your B6 and B12, so you don't have to do an additional supplement, because it already has more than enough in there to take care of a luteal phase defects. And it is a really awesome vitamin and company that I've found, so I'm really excited to share that information with you, which I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I've just done a ton of research on vitamins, herbs, and supplements for fertility, and this multivitamin in particular I'm really excited about taking. I surprisingly enough, in my research, I've actually found that majority of prenatal vitamins, other than them having higher doses of folic acid, and occasionally some of them actually having folate, which is actually better for you because it's more easily absorbed, I have found numerous just regular multivitamins, or multivitamins for as you get older, that are way better and more nutritionally dense, with more vitamins and antioxidants and omegas, and some of them even have probiotics and prebiotics in them. I mean, it's just amazing what some of these multivitamins have in them that I have found, and they far exceed even the most expensive prenatals that I have looked at. So what I personally have chosen to do is to take a very good food-based, organic, non-GMO multivitamin that has very high doses of all kinds of stuff in it, and a lot of other benefits that prenatals don't come with, and add my folate separately, so that I have correct folate issues to prevent issues with the fetus later on, because folate is really important for the development of your fetus. I'm looking at myself right now in camera, and I'm sorry that I look like such a mess. Today has been a crazy day. My makeup has all come off, and I just look insane. And not only that, I've just been emotionally drained for the last few weeks over this chemical pregnancy, and this cycle, I have not been tracking my fertility with my clear blue monitors. I wasn't doing my basal body temperatures. Just here within the last week have I started temping again and taking OBKs and checking my CP, my cervical position and mucus, and I just so happen to be on my fertile week right now, so it kind of lined up correctly, and I just kind of want to take this cycle as a break and just kind of relax and go with the flow and just see what happens and not be so twisted up about it like I have been for several months. Back to what I was talking about, the B6, B12, or you can get a Super B complex. You want to make sure that it has really high doses of both of those vitamins to correct a luteal phase defect, which is too short. And I guess that's about it. I did want to update you guys that I will be resuming the fertility freebie Fridays. This Friday we will actually be doing a giveaway. This video right here, I would like to, I know that I had told you guys that I was going to start doing the tarot card reading giveaways and pendulum readings, and I actually, with this video right here, which I will put it in the title, I'm going to go ahead and kick off that giveaway, and the first 2 people to respond in the comments and tell me one way to one of the ways that you might possibly prevent a chemical pregnancy or miscarriage, like what you can do on your own that I have mentioned in this video to help stop those problems from reoccurring. First 2 people that comment with one of the ways that I have suggested in this video as to how to prevent chemical pregnancies and miscarriages will receive a free tarot card reading. And I'm not going to do another video to announce the winner. It's just the first 2 people who comment answering that question. You just need one way that you might be able to prevent another chemical pregnancy or miscarriage, then you will be the winner, and I will get in contact with you, and we will do a Google video chat or video chat through Facebook, and I will do a free reading for you. I'm really excited about doing this for you guys, and I hope that you guys are excited about it. If there's anything that you guys would like to see me do videos about, that you like about my videos, that you don't like, I'm always open to constructive I can't pronounce it right now. Constructive criticism. By all means, leave it in the comments, because like I said before, this channel, yes, some of it is following my own trying to conceive channel, but this channel is my baby because I'm so passionate about helping other women get, achieve their dream and wish of becoming pregnant, and it's just something that I'm very passionate about, and I want this channel to be a reflection of what you guys want. So let me know what it is you need, what you need information about. If you have any questions about any anything that has to do with fertility and conception. Any of the products that you're using that you're having a hard time understanding, just anything at all. Whatever you would like to see a video on, questions answered, anything like that, leave it down in the comments and I will do my best to get those videos put up, because this YouTube channel is for you guys. Yes, I am following my own journey, but the primary reason for this YouTube channel being created was to help other women achieve their dreams of becoming pregnant. So, be sure to leave your comments and anything that you have to say down in the comments. I know this is running really long and I'm sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you, ladies, again for continuing to support this channel. I do have a little bit of exciting news. I'm actually going to start an Etsy store that is going to start carrying some custom trying to conceive fertility related items. One of the things that I'm working on right now is coming up with a padded travel case for your Clear Blue fertility monitors and for the Fairhaven fertility monitors, so that they can easily be put in your purse, or it can sit in your bathroom in a pretty little tote. I will be selling those, and I will also be having some other promotional items made up for to sell on my Etsy, in my Etsy store, so that those items basically are primarily to support this channel, so that I can continue bringing you guys videos and content, and continue to be a stay-at-home mom. So I would truly appreciate your support. When I do open the store and have everything in the store ready to sell, I will do a video about it and provide a link to the store so that you guys can go browse and see everything that's in there. I don't know if I've mentioned it before or not, but sewing is actually one of my favorite hobbies. So everything that will be in the store, as far as like the fertility monitor totes and things like that, will all be handmade, and I will take custom requests and do custom fabrics and prints and things like that. So I'm really excited about a lot of the things that are going to be coming to this channel here in the future. So don't forget, the first 2 people who comment on this video telling me one of the ways that you can help to prevent another chemical pregnancy or early miscarriage will receive a free tarot card reading through video chat on Google or Facebook with me, and we will do the tarot card reading live. So be sure to get those comments in quickly, because the first 2 people, you are the winners. Thank you, ladies, again for continuing to support. I'm so sorry that I have been kind of MIA for so long, but I'm back now. I've got my head put back on straight, and I'm going to really try to get on a strict schedule. And don't hesitate to leave comments and say, hey, where are you at? What's going on with your videos? Because it helps keep me motivated, knowing that you guys are waiting for me to put out new content, and it would help me out to see the encouragement from my viewers and supporters, and knowing that you guys are waiting for new content to come out. Don't forget that we have a Facebook group, same name as the channel, Full-Time Baby Making Mania. So go over to the Facebook group and join the group. And I love the Facebook group because it is more personal, and I can interact with you guys on a more personal level and help you out with your current situations with fertility, on a more one-on-one basis than I'm able to do here on YouTube. And that's about it. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next time, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you ladies have a wonderful day.